news for you, but we're going to start out with something we have not done in a little while, and that is a movie house shout out for our great friends at Vidiots.
Yay.
We've mentioned them. Yeah, I've mentioned them several times before. And we're so excited for them. This is a long time in coming for them. They have been around in Los Angeles since the mid 80s. They were a video store and a little theater and an event space in Santa Monica, like a few blocks from the beach, and had to shut down and have plans to take over this whole space in Eagle Rock, where they are now finally. But it's been a long time in coming because they acquired this property and began renovations right before the pandemic.
No.
Right. And so Maggie McKay and the ladies at Vidiots have all been working really, really hard. They've got a great board of very passionate folks to get this all going. And now they have reopened finally this past weekend at the Eagle Theater in Eagle Rock. It's a beautiful space they've renovated, and they are doing new movies. Like they're going to show this really cool documentary, Lynch Oz, this week,
cool.
which, have you heard about that? It's like the influence of Wizard of Oz on David Lynch. And then also they just showed Lebowski last night. They're doing like the Frank Zappa documentary, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the Judy Blume documentary, like a really cool cross section of films, new and old. And they're just awesome. They just have a true passion for film and for community. And so I'm just so thrilled for them that this is finally taken off and it's open again.
And they're renting videos.
That's a good thing too. Yes.
Their DVD library is back and available for rental. So yeah, I'm super pumped. I think this is going to be a really great thing for LA film culture. I'm unfortunately going to be out of town this weekend for an opening event that I was invited to, but I plan to go check out Vidiots very soon. I'm very excited it's here.
I'm going to the opening event.
Nice.
So I'll report back. Yeah, I'm psyched to go and check it out and just to see what all they've done with the space. So yes, Vidiots in Eagle Rock. If you're in LA, go visit them. We'll have a link to them down below. We are thrilled for them.
I'll be in Kansas City for Christmas Con, and if you're there and you want to see Deck the Hallmark live at a show that I will be at some way involved in, come to the Record Bar on Thursday night.
Record Bar, and then go get barbecue at Ted Lasso's favorite barbecue place. Your one-stop source for all things entertainment in Kansas City. So box office over the weekend, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse opened just hugely.
Mm-hmm.
Like they expected it would do around $80 million. It actually made over $120 million.
Wow.
Just so happy that it's doing so well. I dropped Nick and his best friend off at the theater on Saturday. And when I went to wait for them to pick him up, just saw like families streaming out, like big smiles, just so chatty, just so excited to talk about it. So it's just a really great summer movie that everybody can go see. We reviewed it last week and loved it. So check that out. That was a big opening.
Yeah. I was just thinking about how like Disney Pixar really needs to kind of up their game here, because I mean I think they've put out some really good films in the last few years, but like Illumination and Sony are where the hits are happening in this genre right now.
Right. And then there's a new Pixar movie coming out next week, Elemental, which I don't know that there's a whole lot of buzz about. Like we're seeing it I'm seeing it Saturday.
Yeah, it premiered at Cannes. It's gotten some, okay reviews, but like, I mean, this used to be Disney's, bailiwick. They really owned movie theater animation, and lately like the up and comers are really kind of taking the crown.
The Screen Actors Guild voted nearly 98% for a strike authorization. That does not mean that they are striking. It means that like if push comes to shove, they are all prepared to do that. A lot of folks in the Screen Actors Guild have been walking side by side with the Writers Guild members who have been on strike for like 6 weeks at this point. Many are members of both guilds. They are fighting for a lot of the same things. So that's kind of a big deal. If writers and actors are all on strike simultaneously, like that will shut this town down.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though the Directors Guild did come to an agreement with the AMPTP, which has drawn some really divisive responses among people in the community. But yeah, I think if the actors and writers both decide to strike, then we're looking at a big shutdown, and I think one that's going to sort of force the hands of these companies who really need to sort of rethink their financial practices when they are shortchanging the creative talent and really overpaying the execs.
Yeah, they're fighting for a lot of the same stuff in terms of like streaming, in terms of, hours and working conditions.
Even the AI stuff, I think, is impacts actors as well.
Oh, for sure. Think about it. If you could just like put a fake person out there, why hire a human being, right? And you could just have like one of those like Deal or No Deal like briefcase holding models on the video games, you know, like they're kind of real. Not really. So anyway, I hope it's not the future. That's really sad. So they are very much in solidarity, these two guilds. So we will keep following that. And then there's a huge story in the LA Times about Elliot Page ahead of his memoir coming out. It's called Page Boy. Amy Kaufman has this whole series now where she does big sit downs with big celebrities. And he's very candid in talking about a lot of really horrific abuse he dealt with around the time of Juno and Hard Candy, when he was like 16, 17, like he was a teenager. This did not have anything to do with his sexual identity so much per se as it was like just being a vulnerable young person in, you know, what can often be a predatory industry.
Yes. And given what Hard Candy is about, that's eerily, creepily ironic.
Yeah. So that is in the LA Times, a really worthwhile read. And you were saying to me last night, Alonso, that he also narrates the audiobook, correct?
Yes. And I, you know, I went to Target this morning and they had a big stack of his memoir at the end cap by the registers. So like, you know, getting into Target with your book is already a big deal, but like they are really pushing this. So that's great because, I think it's a story that's going to impact a lot of people. We always find that it's very easy for people to think about, you know, trans people as this sort of amorphous mass that they're maybe a little scared of and they don't know anybody. But if you put a face on it, a recognizable, hey, this is somebody I know, this is an actor whose work I respect, I think for a lot of folks that sort of brings them around to think like, oh, these are also human beings.
For sure. And like Elliot Page would seem to have been like at the height of his power and fame and popularity. He was an Oscar nominee for Juno, but we never knew what sort of private torment he was suffering. So this is very illuminating and hopefully will help a lot of people.